Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at some feedback for your questions 3 and 4. They say estimate the answers after rounding to the indicated place value. So what that means is we're going to take each of our numbers, we're going to round them first, and then we're going to perform the operation, whether it's multiplying or dividing. In the parentheses, it tells you what place value you're going to round. So we're going to round the ones place, or you could think of it as the nearest whole number. So let's scroll up into your notes and do a little refresher on rounding. So you do have an example right here with the number 6.54. And we're going to round to the nearest ones place. Okay, so the ones place is that number just to the left of the decimal. And in order to decide whether we're going to round that number up or keep it the same, we need to look at the number just to the right of it. So we're going to look at that 5. You have to determine whether you're going to round up or you're going to keep it the same. If your number to the right of the number that you're rounding is 5 or higher, you're going to round up. If it's anything lower than 5, you're going to keep it the same. So the number right to the right of our 6 is a 5. 5 or higher, round up. Lower than 5, keep it the same. Well, 5 or higher. So that means that we're going to round up. So we're going to take that number that we're rounding, our 6, in that ones place, and we're going to round it up 1. So we're going to round it up to a 7. Then anything after that number turns into a 0. So if there was something before that 7, we would just keep it the same. But anything after this, the number that you rounded, we're going to turn into 0. So that 5 goes into a 0 and your 4 goes into a 0. So 7.00, which is just the nearest whole number, nearest ones place, would just be 7. Well, let's turn that problem right there into an operation, so we can either multiply or divide two numbers together. So let's take a look at 21.28, and we're going to divide that by 6.54. Okay, so we have our operation here that we want to perform, 21.28 divided by 6.54, and we're going to round each of our numbers and then perform the division. And we're going to round them to the ones place. So if you look at our number 21.28, the number in the ones place just to the left of our decimal is a 1. So we need to decide whether we're going to keep that 1 the same or round up. So look to the right of that number. 5 or higher, round up. Anything lower than 5, keep it the same. So 2 is lower than 5, so we are going to keep it the same. So we're going to keep that 1 the same. So again, anything before what you're rounding stays the same. That 1 ended up staying the same since we're not rounding up. 5 or higher, round up. Anything lower than 5, keep it the same. So that 1's going to stay the same, and then the 2 turns into a 0, and the 8 turns into a 0. So we end up with just 21. Everything after the number that you rounded changes into a 0. And then because it was a decimal, those just drop off. And then we're going to do the same thing. We did already do this one. The 6 was in the ones place. We look to the right of that 6, which is a 5. 5 or higher, round up. So if it was a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, or 9, we would round that 6 up to a 7. and then anything else after that 7 turns into a 0, which just gives us 7. So now actually all our problem is 21 divided by 7, which gives us 3. Round your numbers first and then perform the division.